The air was cleaned up. Health and welfare was protected. SIPs were in place. All was well. Are we done? Not by a long shot. So just as air sheds throughout the U.S. were different, the resulting SIPs were different, as I mentioned. Dirty air areas had more stringent SIP rules than clean air areas. In parlance, the dirty states had consumed more of their air resources. So now what was the state of a source either coming to an area or even legacy sources, what I call legacy sources, that might have been located in these developed areas if they wanted to expand, or for that matter, they were being imposed, these new SIP standards were being imposed upon them. And remember, they were more stringent here in the dirty air areas. And so in some cases, it was feasible for them to say, you know what, I don't like these more stringent SIP standards. I'm going to go to a clean air area and consume some of their resources. And guess what? It might be cost effective because their SIP standards didn't need to be as stringent as these in the dirty air areas. So, and the same is true for new sources. New sources coming to one or the other said, well, look, if I come here, I'll have SIP standard C, and over here SIP standard D, and this one doesn't cost me as much. You'd say, oh, the good news is, if these legacy sources left, the air quality would be improved here, right? Cheer, yay, rah. Well, some of these states didn't see it that way. So they called for, in the 70 amendments, they called for national standards, please, for source categories that would be more stringent than the most stringent SIP standard. Legacy sources could now move, but only to more stringent non-SIP emission standards. So in other words, if they went to move, they would have to apply these national standards to them. But these NSPSs were not required if they remained in the dirty air areas, and hence the birthing of grandfathers. So what we have here is we have dirty air areas who clamored for national standards, but they didn't want the national standards applied to their sources. They only wanted those standards applied to sources if they deigned to leave the fold and go to a clean air area.